What's up, everybody? Your boy is back, and you guys want to talk some Ironheart? Let's talk some Ironheart. Spoilers if it wasn't obvious, but before I really get into the in-depth review, if I had to rate season one of Ironheart on a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 7, maybe even a 7.5. I'm being generous. I mean, the story's good, the acting was great, the comedy sometimes cheesy but still a little bit funny, and the special effects for a television show were amazing. And of course, the main controversy behind the show is not the acting, it's not the special effects, it's not even the storyline. The main argument that people have for this not being a good show is it being too woke, if you guys know what I mean. But just a newsflash for everybody that's not in the know. A black female lead and LGBTQ characters in the show does not a woke show make. But with the Marvel fandom, it can be a lose-lose situation because it's hard to keep the casual moviegoers and the hardcore comic book fans happy at the same time, which I don't get why, because if you know anything about Riri Williams, this is comic book accurate. They didn't change anything, they didn't change anything major from the comic books. Because with the long-time Marvel fandom, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. Oh, we're sick of the same stale, boring, bland storylines and cookie cutter characters. We want something new. And then when you give it to them, oh, we're tired of all this woke, pushing agendas garbage. So what the hell do y'all want? I'll tell you what I want. What I want is to be entertained. And while this show is not perfect and has got its flaws, this show did what it's supposed to do for me as far as entertainment value. Now, I like Riri's story arc and her character development because we see what she's been doing since Wakanda Forever. And she's been kicked out of MIT. And it's like, well, if I don't have the money of Tony Stark and I don't have his equipment at my disposal, what am I supposed to do now? Because her being a tech whiz and her making iron suits is her calling in life. And if she doesn't have that, then what does she have? So with Riri getting her college scholarship revoked and her being expelled, now she has no choice but to go back to her home of Chicago and go back to the drawing board, both figuratively and literally. And this is when we get to dive a little bit deeper into her backstory and more of her origins, like with the side characters being some of her friends, her family members, and even her own environment. Because we now know that she has a deceased stepfather and a best friend who passed away in a shooting. And that's one reason why she wanted to create an iron suit, to protect the people around her. But now, with her dream in shambles and her having no money to come home back to, guess what she has to do to resort to get it? Crime. Under the table pay and underhanded crime. So she joins this band of misfits that pretty much commits cyber terrorism, if you would. And for a while, it actually works. And I don't know about you all, but I actually like Anthony Ramos's character, the Hood. I'll talk about him a little bit more. But yes, he's the leader of this misfit band that does all these cyber crimes. And we find out that there's more to this Hood than meets the eye. No Transformers joke. And while Riri could recreate her iron suit, the one thing she did not have to assist her was an AI the same way that Tony had Jarvis. So what she did, she unintentionally and subconsciously recreated the AI in the form of her deceased best friend Natalie. And she was freaked out by this by the longest. And like with all things AI, be it real life or fictional, the AI learns, it adapts, and it grows. It even went as far as to take some of Natalie's past memories and put it in the AI of Natalie, which freaked out Riri and actually made her kind of relieved because, like, well, how do you know all this? Like, how can you literally just put your virtual soul into an AI? And it took some time for Riri to adjust, but she got used to it. And leave it to an AI to be the voice of reason, because she even asked Riri, how far do you see this going? Like, can you really trust them? You don't see it just because you're raking in thousands of dollars doing these cyber crimes with these guys. And like her friend Natalie, the AI even knows how to calm her down because she has anxiety attacks and she hyperventilates. And she even tells her to breathe. And it's like, wait a minute. How the hell does an AI know how to breathe? So the more she's with her and the more she's able to adapt, the more of a real person she's able to become. Also, the son of Obadiah Stane, Ezekiel Stane, who also goes by the alias of Joe, is in this. And he assists Riri in these cyber crimes. But when a mission goes bad, one piece of technology ends up getting traced back to Joe, and he gets locked up for this and swears revenge on Riri. And all it took was for that one mission to go awry, because they had to find out what the Hood's cape was made out of, only for it to be found out to be made for some kind of interdimensional dark magic material. And his brother found out, they got into some fisticuffs, and she ended up having to let him die to save her own life, which would come back to haunt her. And with his new acquired powers, Ezekiel Stane, along with the Hood's crew, has been trying to take Riri Williams out because they found out the true fate of his brother. And much to my surprise and everyone else's, Ezekiel actually lets her go. But the Hood found out about this, and of course, in typical villain fashion, he says, if you want to do something right, you gotta do it yourself. And I actually like his backstory about how and why he required the Hood, which I'll get into in just a minute. But yes, I like his character development because, like with every villain, he's not just some plain, stale, boring villain. He actually has some kind of depth to him, and he has a reason as to why he's doing what he's doing. He wants power, and he doesn't want to feel weak anymore. Basically, him and Riri are two sides of the same coin, except Riri chose a more righteous path in the beginning, and we see the Hood did not choose such a righteous path. And of course, magic in the dark arts was introduced into the final episode because we find out the origin of the cloak is actually an enchanted piece of cloth by the otherworldly Mephisto. Yes, Mephisto. And I didn't think that we were going to see Mephisto until either Doctor Strange 3 or the X-Men movie. But yeah, we actually got him in Ironheart. And with technology and the dark arts, Riri managed to defeat the Hood, but he's still alive. And with Mephisto lurking around, there's no telling where this could go. But the season ended on that note, and I was actually satisfied with what I saw. But yeah, despite some of the negative reviews, I just advise people to give this show a chance and form your own opinion. Do not let the hardcore comic book fans or anybody who's not knowledgeable sway your opinion about this show. Watch it for yourself and draw your own conclusions. But anyway, that's what I think about it. What do you guys think? See you guys next time. Peace.